when he was out there. He told me, we're putting the house up for sale as soon as we get back. And I was like, well, that was quick. And he was like, it's her. She's ready to go. And I was like, okay. And so I left it at that. And then he got back, and I started asking him, like, what are you going to do? Because the Colorado housing market is fire, and you guys are going to sell this house, like, real fast. And I'm like, you need to start looking for a new place to live. And I'm like, where do you want to live? And I was really trying to help him out. I'm like, do you want to get a house? Do you want 3 bedrooms so you have one and each of your girls have one? I'm like, do you want to, you know, like, do an apartment? Like, what do you want? You know, where do you want to live? Because he's in Frederick, but that whole area over there is just like a bunch of small towns, and you can kind of just pick and choose. Everything's kind of, you know, and so he told me, well, I like Brighton, and I was like, okay. And then he told me he wanted a 2-bedroom apartment, and he said he wanted 1 room for him and the other room for his 2 girls. And I thought it was kind of cute. Like, I remember telling him, I was like, yeah, me and my sister had bunk beds, like, at my dad's house. And I was like, when we were little girls, and me and my sister were the same age apart as him and as his 2 daughters, you know. So I told him, I was like, they're gonna love it. I was like, they might be, like, stuck in 1 room together. I was like, but they'll become, like, best buddies. And it was really exciting. Like, I liked helping him, and I just wanted him to, like, I don't know. This is what he told me he wanted. So I was like, well, I will help you do the research. But another thing that I really took care of was to be like, where is she moving to? I was never like, you know what, screw your wife, try to get a full custody. None of that bullshit. It was always just like, you know, I'd ask him, I'm like, well, what kind of custody you guys going to have? Because he at work, they're about to switch his schedule. So right now he's like on Monday through Friday. And they're about to switch these guys to 8 days on, 6 days off. That's awesome. And I was asking him, I was like, are you gonna have your kids like on that set of days off? I was like, because that would work perfect. Like 1 week on, 1 week off. And I was just like, you know, we just talked about it. And I'm like, what is your plan? And he's like, we haven't figured out exactly what we're gonna do about the kids yet. But he told me, he's like, Colorado's a 50-50 state, and she's okay with everything 50-50. Like, he said that she was like on board with this because she wanted it too. Like, she was checked out of this relationship. So that was like how he made this sound. That it was like a very like kosher, we're done kind of thing.
Did you ever give him like books or articles or anything to read about saving your marriage? Did you ever provide anything to him like that?
About saving his marriage?
Yeah, like how to recover a marriage or how to save your marriage. You know, there's all sorts of publications and books out there.
No, but I did tell him, and I don't know if I did this through text or phone. That will be something you guys will, I'm sure, figure out. But I told him a few times, like, I think that you should take the time to read some articles about what separation does to kids. You know, and I told him, I said, when my parents separated, we were literally like 3 and 5. We were almost the exact same age as these little girls. And I told him, I said, you know, I was so young when it happened that it didn't really have like a big negative effect on me because it was so small that I didn't really process it too well. I was like, but I do have cousins that their parents got divorced when they were like 10, 11, and I think that it hit them a little harder, you know, and he's like, oh, they'll be fine, you know, and I told him, I was like, even though they're small and you think that they'll be fine, I was like, I think you guys should just read about it just so that you guys are prepared in case, you know, one of these two starts having a hard time with the fact that you guys aren't in the same house anymore, you know, and I would tell him, I was like, you know, there's pros and cons to it, like, because he was like getting ready to do it, and it would be like, you know, it's kind of cool having 2 Christmases, and, you know, like, your parents get to go, you know, be happy doing whatever it is they want to do with their lives, and they don't have to be in a situation that's probably not good for the kids because it's not good for those 2, you know, but at the same time, it was like, just read. Like, that's what I always used to tell him. I'd always tell him to, like, I tell people to read about everything. Reading is so good for you.
So he, at this time, is telling you that, yeah, I am the guy trying to save the marriage and she doesn't want it.
That's what he told me. So, and then he was like, she doesn't want it, so I'm not going to do it. And then it was like, we're filing for divorce, we're selling the house. And this was like all as soon as they were coming back from North Carolina, like boom, 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 boom. And
do you recall when he gets back from North Carolina?
No, I don't even know how long he was out there. I know it was like less than 2 weeks and more than 1.
Okay.
I don't remember.
So he comes back early August. Would that be fair?
Oh yeah, it was definitely like in the first 2 weeks somewhere.
All right.
Probably the second week of August at some point in that. I don't remember when.
Does his wife come back with him at that time? Or
Yeah, they all came back.
They all come back at the same
They all came back. And then, yeah, so he continues to just, tell me that this is like what he wants. And so I took the time, and you will see that in the text too, where I I found this apartment. It was perfect. It was so cute. I was like, it's in your price range. It's like 6 miles from the gym. It's 23 miles from work. I'm like, it's super close to Frederick. It's going to be by your kid's school. Like, this is the spot, and I told him, I was like, oh, keep looking for more places. And he's like, well, there's some that I want to go see too. And he actually had me thinking that he was going to go look at these places this week. Before all this.
So this is fairly recent then.
This just happened, like in the last.
He's going to go look at apartments.
He wanted me to go with him.
When you say this week, are you saying
like this?
Monday was the 13th.
Like this week.
Okay.
Yeah. So I told him, I was like, well, pick out a few spots. And if you want me to come with you, I'll go look at them. But you
said earlier that he had never, or that the apartment wasn't for you and him. It was just for him and his children.
Oh yes.
It wasn't. You had no intentions of moving in with him.
No, I have my own spot. I still have a lease there till July, and even then, like, he never asked me to move in with him, and I never tried to move in with him. I mean, I told him. I really tried to take everything with this whole situation very slow. The only part that I screwed up on was the fact that he wasn't completely separated from her when him and I decided to spend time with each other. That is where I screwed up. But other than that, everything else, it was always like, you build your life, I'm going to build my life, we will intertwine them, but I am not ready to, do this. And he respected that. And I even said that, and I don't know, that might be in the text, but said that too, where it's like, Chris, you need space. You're just getting out of a divorce. Personally, I think jumping into a new relationship is a little quick. It's like, I was in a relationship earlier this year, and I think this is also a little quick. And I'm like, so why don't we take our time? And I'm like, if you guys end up doing a week on, a week off with your kids, I'm like, the week you have your kids, be with your children. And the week that you don't, I'm like, I don't even want to see you every day. I'm like, I think we should spend a few days of that together. I'm like, because I like my space, and I think you need your space. I think you need your space to develop your identity again and get it back, because I think he's just been so wrapped up in this whole thing that he's got in his own life and his life that he doesn't remember probably what it's like to be single or have time where it's just him. Sure. And so I was just embrace that. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I really try to take it smart with all that. And it was the same thing with his kids. I was just and we talk about things every once in a while where I'd be like, hey, if I ever meet, because I have a lot of house plants. It's a good example. So I have a lot of house plants, and I told him, I was like, one day, if I ever meet your kids, I was like, I'm going to show these girls how to paint pottery and plant plants. So I was like, I think they would love to see something grow that they built. I think it would be really, really cute. And little stuff like that, but it wasn't very frequent. It wasn't, hey, we should get married, and hey, we should have babies, and hey, I want to live with you, and hey, I need to meet your children now, and let's cut the mom out. It was never like that.
There was never any conversation about, we can't do this with her around, we can't do this with the kids around. No. He never said that, you never said that.
No.
So the way you guys were trying to make this work was just, slowly trying to come together because of his current situation, and by your own account,
mine.
You're just an independent person, it sounds like, pretty much. Yeah. And